Hey y'all! Lumix has come up with a new camera, the S1II, which feels like the spiritual successor of the S1H, but loaded with even more features and a smaller, lighter body. I'm clearly not covering everything that this camera can do, but focusing on my favorite features and expanding on why they are relevant. The S1II features a partially stacked sensor, meaning that it's got much faster readout speeds. This can be used for very little rolling shutter or leveraged as a dynamic range boost in the shadows in exchange for more rolling shutter or like normal rolling shutter. The cost is when boosting the dynamic range, we can only film at 24 or 25 frames per second. We finally got full frame 60p. The faster frame rates introduce some cropping, as nothing in this world comes for free. And we're talking about 1.17 times crop at Cinema 4K in 120 frames per second. The faster readout speeds also means less rolling shutter for anamorphic, and you can take a look at Gerald Undun's video for a detailed breakdown of what these speeds are. The takeaway is we got 15 milliseconds for a full sensor height readout. Among the dozens of recording modes, we can do a 2.4:1 crop in camera, delivering CinemaScope for spherical easy, bypassing post-production. Since we're not using the full sensor, we get some cool frame rate options on this mode as well. We finally got the long-awaited 4:3 full-frame crop, which makes post-production easy for anamorphics as you don't have to see and record all of the stuff on the sides anymore. We can now do internal ProRes, plus B-RAW and ProRes RAW over HDMI. I assigned a button to toggle the in-camera false color, which features different values than the traditional monitor false color, but still gets the job done. It is a great tool for improving your exposure and how you control your lighting. Autofocus plus stabilization is further improved. In the anamorphic world, electronic image stabilization re-enables the roll axis on the sensor when stabilizing anamorphic footage and applies a correction to the results so that we don't get the misaligned look. If you want to learn more about the conflict between image stabilization and anamorphics, check Chapter 4 or Module 7 in the Anamorphic Cookbook. In the S1II, the LCD screen articulation is vastly superior to what we have in the S5II and S5IIX, allowing much more freedom of movement and placement of that screen. This is something I really liked in the S1H and missed in the in-between models, and I like it even more now. Color-wise, the camera supports over 30 custom LUTs, plus you can buy an update to unlock ARRI LogC 3 directly in camera, which makes it easier to match this to an Alexa, or even to simply load up ARRI LUTs that you like onto the camera or onto your timeline. This talking head was filmed in ARRI LogC, as well as some of the sample footage. It's been 13 years, but I finally feel this camera has surpassed every benefit that I was able to get out of a Canon 5D3 with Magic Lantern installed. The resolution and stabilization alone are the biggest step, but in-camera false color and raw recording, plus the LUTs contribute a lot to feeling that I have all the tools that I could ever want in a camera body this small and this cheap. And much like Magic Lantern did, you can now save your settings to a memory card and transfer them over to another camera in the same family. This is going to save me a ton of time because whenever I switch cameras, the first hour or two is just digging through the menus to get all of my settings ported over. The S1II is out already and selling for $3,200 or 4,600 Canadian, which isn't S5 level cheap, but about the same as the Sony a7 IV and loaded with much more functionality. The ARRI LogC update costs another $300, which in comparison is way less than a multi-day Alexa rental. As usual, Lumix has a series of firmware updates mapped out to add even more features to the camera. I've always been a big fan of this strategy, as your camera gets better as time goes on. The two things that I still would want to see are custom anamorphic D-squeeze, or at least more options in the menu, and an accurate 4perf Super 35 crop, meaning 24.89 by 18.66 millimeters crop out of the sensor area. We're somewhat close already, but not quite on the spot yet. This will allow us to have the same imaging area as the most traditional anamorphic format in Hollywood and history. What are your thoughts on the S1II? What else would you possibly want in a camera that this one doesn't provide? Let me know in the comments below. See you soon. Tjute verhaddings. Out.